Welcome back, everybody. Big Easy Blitz Podcast, episode 34. In this episode, Brock and I will be ranking each team's wide receiver rank or wide receiver duo. Sorry. So for the Saints, it would be Rashid Shaheed and Chris Olave. Um, so before I hand it over to Brock to give a few words, I would like to say tell a friend to subscribe, like, follow, do all those things on all platforms. That is YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram at Big Easy Blitz. So yeah, Brock, what you got?
Yep. As you can probably see, I am on my phone because we tried to film this already once. Did not go well. So I switched to the
Did
old
not go well
iPhone.
because of Wi-Fi. Nothing we did, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah, that's yeah. And I'm also not feeling the greatest today. So I do this for y'all. I yeah, my brain's a little mushed because like I said, I'm not feeling the greatest. But I wanted to get on here and get one out. We wanted to get on one out because it's been a while.
It
As you could
has.
also see, I'm in a new setting. It's gonna be like this for the next 2 weeks, and then it's gonna change once again whenever we move into LSU. I know I've been saying we just moved into a new house, and then I got to move right back out. So yeah, but yeah, we'll kind of touched on it. We're gonna give our top 32 wide receiver duos, and we're gonna go eight at a time. So 32 to 25, 24 to 16 or 17, and
16.
then
And then
it's
you get
yeah,
the point.
16, and then, yeah, we're gonna go back. So Connor's gonna go. We're gonna go back and forth.
Yep.
So I'll let Connor take it away.
Yep. Okay. So at number 32, for my wide receiver duos rankings, I have the 49ers, Ricky Pearsall and Jawan Jennings. Look, Ricky Pearsall has potential. Obviously, I mean, he's
Hmm.
dealt with a ton of adversity. Um, Jawan Jennings did have some moments last year, don't get me wrong. He had a ton of big moments. I even want to say he had like a 50-point fantasy game or like a
Yeah,
49 point fantasy game last
something
year.
crazy like that. Yep.
So, I mean, I guess the potential's there, and I mean, maybe they could be a little higher, but Ricky Pearsall certainly isn't proven at all yet. And Jawan Jennings, I mean, it's Jawan Jennings. He's had a couple big moments, but he's nowhere near, um, a sustained receiver in this league. So at
Yeah.
number 31, I have the Tennessee Titans with Calvin Ridley and Tyler Lockett. Not too much to say here. Tyler Lockett is in the twilight years of his career. Calvin Ridley, sure, I guess still is an okay receiver in the league. They got a obviously rookie quarterback Cam Ward, who could be good, but the Titans don't have many weapons around them, so defenses really could just key in on Calvin Ridley and shut that down pretty
Hmm.
easily. Moving on, at number 30, I have Matthew Golden and Jaden Reed from the Green Bay Packers. Matthew Golden has certainly had some buzz around training camp. A lot of people from Packers faithful want him to kind of take the role as wide receiver one because the last couple of years, really ever since Devontae Adams left, um, the Packers have had a plethora of wide receiver twos, wide receiver threes. Nobody could really step up. You saw Christian Watson. I mean, a little bit, but it's still Christian Watson. I mean, he's dealt with a ton of injuries too. Uh, so moving on, that was number 30. Moving on to 29, I have the Panthers, Tetairoa McMillan and Xavier Legette. The Panthers kind of need Xavier Legette to take a big step after investing a first round pick in him last year. He was basically non-existent as a rookie, and both Brock and I have high hopes for Tetairoa and McMillan. So if both of these players take steps, I mean, look, we could be looking at this duo being top 15 by the time we're doing this next year.
Hmm.
Um, let's see. Now at 28, I have Marvin Harrison Jr. and Greg Dortch, who's a wide receiver in this league at for the Cardinals. Really, I
Yes,
mean,
he is.
obviously this is carried by Marvin Harrison Jr. Not too much to say here as well. Um, I mean, Brock, you mentioned this the first time we shot this. Trey McBride is a huge uh,
Hmm.
target for Kyler Murray and essentially is the wide receiver too.
Yeah,
Uh,
similar to Travis Kelce with the
yeah.
Chiefs.
hmm Moving on, number 27, I have the Raiders, Jacoby Myers and Jack Besh, local kids, shout out. Um, I mean, Jacoby Myers put up really solid stats last year with Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell. No disrespect, but Geno Smith objectively is an upgrade, especially for the passing attack. I mean, he airs it out, needless to say. Uh, and then, I mean, similar to the other rookies, I mean, we really don't know what Jack Besh is going to be in the NFL. He was a beast at TCU. Didn't he start at LSU, right? Yeah,
Yep, he was
him.
a beast at OSU.
Really? Yeah.
He just got
Um,
stuck behind guys like Neighbors and BTJ and
Now that you say that,
Kyron
I kind
Leafy.
of do
Rest in
remember
peace.
that. Yeah. But that LSU receiver class was stacked,
Oh
so
my God.
don't blame him for leaving. Moving on to number 26, I have the Colts. I have Michael Pittman and Josh Downs. These two have had, or Michael Pittman definitely more so than Josh Downs, has had upper echelon success. I mean, even 2 years ago, I want to say Michael Pittman was considered a very, very, very solid receiver in this league, and
hmm
then Anthony Richardson, sorry, came into town, had his fair share of struggles, and Michael Pittman saw a great decrease in targets,
hmm
in receptions, and pretty much everything. Um, I mean, Josh Downs is cool. Not too much to say about Josh Downs. He's okay. I mean,
He's in the NFL.
yeah, yeah. I mean, oh, okay. Well, I feel like Josh Downs is a slight step above a guy like Calvin Austin, you know?
Even though you have them below DK and Calvin Austin.
Well, DK is also a lot better than both of them. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
uh, moving on, we have number 25, the Patriots. I have um Demario Douglas and Stephon Diggs. Look, Stephon Diggs is a bigger name. You wouldn't normally expect to see him this low, but he's coming off of an ACL injury. He's getting up there in age, and Demario Douglas, similar to Josh Downs. I mean, he'll get you some catches. He could maybe make the big play here or there, but doesn't do too much. Isn't going to be on a defense's scouting report. Um, but yeah, so that's all I have on the Patriots. Moving on to number 24. And
hmm
this is my final one for the bottom eight. I have the Cleveland Browns with Jerry Jeudy and Cedric Tillman. Jerry Jeudy put up monster numbers last year. Do I think that's sustainable? Absolutely not. I don't think he's a wide receiver one. But I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt having them this high just because of that season he had last year. So,
hmm with the ever so famous Jameis Winston, who we love over here in
yes.
New Orleans. So kicking off mine with the bottom last uh 32 ranked wide receiver core, or wide receiver duo, sorry. I have Xavier Legette and Ted McMillan. Surely for the fact that we have no idea what Ted McMillan is going to be like, so
Mm,
you can't really put him too high. And just basing it off of last year, Xavier Legette did not have that good of a season.
no.
So I mean, you can only put him so high. Number 31, I have Ricky Pearsall and Jawan Jennings for the 49ers. Um, Neither one of them really jumps off the page at you. Pretty sure both of them are dealing with injuries too right now, which is kind of concerning, along with Brandon Ayuk, who is not on yet because he's injured. If he was healthy, he'd 100% be of the wide receiver one of that team. Um, Number 30, I have the retirement home of the Titans receiver core, Connor. All
Yeah.
right. Um, what is it? Yeah. So I have the Titans at 29 or 30, sorry. Number 29, I have Matthew Golden and Jaden Reed for the Packers. Like you said, a lot of wide receiver twos on that team. Matthew Golden, could he, I think he could be a very good, solid receiver. A lot of buzz out of training camp as he is solidifying himself as wide receiver one. So we'll see with that.
Somebody has to be
Jaden
wide
Reed, I
receiver
think,
one.
yeah, that is true. I would say those two and the Panthers are kind of comparable. The reason I have the Packers wide receiver core higher is because Jaden Reed has proven that he can be a good receiver, and Xavier Gett hasn't.
Right.
So that's kind of
Fair.
why
Fair.
those two up there. I do think Ted McMillan will be better than Matthew Golden though. So we'll see. Moving on 28, I have Jacoby Myers and Jack Besh. Jacoby Myers had a very good season last year. As I mean, could you say the? I would say the wide receiver one, especially when Devontae Adams left. He really stepped up in a huge way. But similar to what I've said about the last two with the rookies, Jack Besh, you just don't know what he's going to be, so you
Mhm.
can't put him too high. I love Jack Besh. I love watching him at LSU. Didn't watch him much at TCU, but he I mean, he was clearly good enough to get drafted, and now he's looking to be wide receiver two on the Raiders, who actually have a quarterback now.
Yeah.
Moving on, number 27, I have Jerry Jeudy and Cedric Tillman. You kind of touched on the Jerry Jeudy. Really had a career year last year. I do not think that's sustainable. I think he would. I think his best suit for him in his career is go to like a contender or not, a team with a solidified wide receiver one and have him be the wide receiver two. I think he'd flourish in that.
Mhm.
Um, and also he did that with Jameis last year, like I said. And God knows who's going to be the quarterback for the Browns. So you really
Could we
can't put him
see
much higher.
Shador?
I don't think so. Uh, I'm a known Shador hater. I don't think he's that good. I don't think the Saints should have taken him with the second round pick, but I also don't think the Saints should have taken a quarterback at all in the second round.
Let me ask you this real
Um,
quick. Do you think if you could go back to the number 40th pick and you only could choose Shador Sanders or Tyler Shuck, who are you taking?
no matter what I say here, I'm going to get some flag for, it, but I don't think Shador was that good. I'm taking Tyler Shough. Now that's probably
Okay.
not probably. It's going to be an extremely hot take, and I'm sure I'm going to hear that from our close circle. But I mean, Shador went 13 and 12 at Colorado with the Heisman as a receiver. Like, what has he done? There's a reason he didn't go to the fifth round. I mean, come on. Let's be honest here, guys. Moving on, number
That's going to be a clip,
26.
by the way. You will be seeing that one
Yes,
on
it will.
TikTok.
Yes, you will. Number 26, I'm gonna just rattle off 26 to 24.
Yeah, go
26, I
ahead.
have, because there's not much really to talk about. 26, I have the Bills receiver core with Shakir and Coleman.
Mhm.
That is Khalil Shakir and Keon Coleman, for those who don't know. Uh, 25, I have the Colts receiving core with Michael Pittman and Josh Downs. I think Josh Downs is very underrated, but Michael Pittman just he's struggled without Joe Flacco at quarterback, and now he's gonna have either Richardson or Daniel Jones. So God bless that man. And
Poor
then
guy.
yeah, and then running out my bottom eight at top or 24, I have Stephon Diggs and Demario Douglas. Um, Stephon Diggs, I think he's coming off a torn ACL, so you can't put him much higher than that.
Yeah.
And Demario Douglas, he is what he is. He's not really going to surprise anybody. So yeah, that's my bottom eight. And Connor will jump into his second eight. Uh,
Yeah. So
Starting with number 23. Yeah,
my 23 through I guess we'll go 16. 23 through 16 wide receiver duos. I have the Bills at 23, Khalil Shakir and Keon Coleman. Uh I mean, let's just say this. Josh Allen doing what he has done with the weapons he has been um, handed is very impressive. That's
yeah,
what I'm going to say
yeah,
about Khalil Shakir and Keon Coleman. Look, Keon Coleman can be 100%. He could be great, but I mean, um, sure he had Stephon Diggs, but I mean, he was a diva for the vast majority
yeah,
of his time in Buffalo.
yeah,
Um, Moving on to number 22, I have the first real elite, not elite, but first real solid receiver, I would say. Um, I guess Marvin Harrison Jr. would have something to say about that, but I feel
yeah,
like this guy, Cortland Sutton, is definitely um, a notch above Marvin Harrison Jr. I have the Broncos at 22, him and Marvin Mims. Uh, I mean, Cortland Sutton obviously carries this room.
yeah,
Uh,
for sure.
Marvin Mims has had some buzz with his training camp. I think
Hmm.
I've seen a lot of people with fantasy saying Marvin Mims could be a sleeper. I'm not buying it. I mean, we already drafted, but I'm not going to pick him up off waivers.
Yeah, no,
Certainly. That's all I got on the Broncos. Moving on to number 21, I have the New York Jets. Um, Garrett Wilson and Alan Lazard. Alan Lazard is a product of Iowa State. Shout out low key wide receiver university. Uh,
yeah,
it's a joke. It's a joke. It's a joke. There are a lot of wide receivers in the NFL though from Iowa State. Um, I would like to make that known. But I mean,
Hmm.
Justin Fields coming to town. Who knows? Again, a big wild card. Um, this is even though it's not a great situation in New York, it's better than what he has had anywhere in his career thus far. Um, I mean, it's going to be interesting. I think he can support Garrett Wilson enough for him to be
Hmm.
um, a very solid wide receiver, but I don't know. I mean, obviously they're going to be a heavy run team with Justin Fields, obviously, and Breece Hall.
And
What's that?
Garrett Wilson and Justin Fields already have a little bit of chemistry since they both were
That
at
is
Ohio
true.
State together. So
We could
I
have seen
just
that in
also,
New Orleans with
yeah,
Olave and
yeah,
Fields.
yeah. Well, now we're stuck with Tyler Shaw.
That's all right. Oh Lord. Moving on, number 20, I have the Steelers, DK Metcalf and Calvin Austin. DK Metcalf's a beast. Had a slight down year last year, but now he's got Aaron Rodgers throwing him the ball, who will 100% be able to get him the ball. And I mean, Calvin
Hmm.
Austin is, he's all right. I'd say Calvin Austin is better than a guy like Greg Dortch, who I have uh, down there. But let's see. Now I have 19. I have the Chargers, Lad McConkey and Trey Harris. Lad was a beast last year. Could we see the same thing out of Trey Harris? I don't know. Um, but I feel like that's a fair 19's a fair spot for them, just because of how good Lad McConkey is and Trey Harris's potential upside. Next, I have your New Orleans Saints. Shout out Chris Olave. This is a Chris Olave jersey, not an Ohio State jersey. Let me make that clear. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
No, no, you can keep talking. I was just getting my actual Chris Olave
Okay.
jersey.
All right. But
You know, the Saints one because I'm a Saints fan, not an Ohio State fan.
I'm not an
Sorry,
Ohio
sorry to
State fan.
interrupt. You can
I
keep going.
just am an Olave fan. I
No,
think
no,
Olave
just continue on with your
100%
list.
could surpass 1,200 yards this year if he stays healthy. Um, I think Shaheed could also get up to like 850, 900 yards. Obviously, a lot of that depends on the quarterback play, but uh, look, if Spencer Rattler's the answer, I mean, 100% those goals are achievable. Moving on, I have at number 17 the Baltimore Ravens, Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman. The Ravens are a very run-heavy team. I think Zay Flowers has the skill set, but the numbers have not been there so far throughout his career. Uh, like I said, that's just testament to them having Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson. Um, and Rashad Bateman's cool. He's a solid wide receiver too. And then my final one for 23 through 16, I have the New York Football Giants with Malik Neighbors and Wan'Dale Robinson.
Hmm. Okay.
Let me ask you this.
Good.
What do you think are reasonable is a reasonable stat line for Olave and Shaheed this year?
Okay.
What do you
I like
think they
this.
could do? Give me the, ceiling and give me like a floor and give me like a in between.
Okay. Floor or ceiling for Olave is I think what you said. Definitely 1,200 yards, probably 7 or 8 touchdowns, maybe. Um, for Shaheed, I just think he kind of relies more on the deep ball more. So I think his ceiling is probably, like you say, kind of 900, 950 maybe. Um, now but I do think he can get a lot of touchdowns. I think he can probably get like 9 or 10 touchdowns. I think because he relies on the deep ball so much.
Hmm.
Um, Floor for both of them would probably be a lot of it getting hurt by week 6. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news.
No, I mean
Um,
it's realistic.
yeah, the floor for both of them would probably be like I'd say for Olave probably 800 yards, 850. Just because he's going to be the number one target, he's going to be getting his receptions and all that.
This is assuming he stays healthy,
With
by the way.
yeah, with like 3 to 4 touchdowns. And then Shaheed, I would argue, is probably even lower, probably like 550, 600
Yeah.
yards with a touchdown or two. Just because,
Mhm.
like, I mean, I keep reiterating it, he relies on the deep ball so much. But if the quarterback can't get him the deep ball, then he's not going to be able to do anything with it. Now, what I do think they're going to do, I think they'll both hover around the 850 to 900 mark, um, with maybe Olave squeaking just past 1,000, maybe like 1,050 or something like that. With probably combined, I'd say 15 to 16 touchdowns between the two of them. which I'd be fine with 100, like with
That'd be
especially with
great.
Kamara. He's gonna he's gonna get you 1,000 all-purpose yards.
Mm.
Hopefully, this is the year he
That's
finally
a
gets 1,000
lock.
rushing yards. But he's gonna well, knock on wood, because I thought that last year, and then he got hurt. Um,
It might
so
just
yeah,
not be
I
meant to
mean,
be.
yeah, our full Saints prediction is gonna be out tomorrow. We're gonna be a very special in-person podcast tomorrow, from our
Stay
dear
tuned.
friends at Mercado. So be on the lookout for that. We are very excited for that. Um, but yeah, I mean, we'll touch more about that tomorrow when we talk about the Saints. But I'll just jump right in, so I don't know how much time we have left. But anyway, number 23, kicking it off, I have Cortland Sutton and Marvin Mims.
Mm.
Just because Cortland Sutton's a very solid receiver, had him in fantasy last year. He's going to get you 13.7 points every week. But he is getting older. He's getting a little up there. And then Marvin Mims, just I mean, he's kind of he is what he is. Hasn't really done anything since coming out of Baylor. A lot of people think that he's going to do well this year, but we'll see. You never know. I feel like they're kind of what we said with Trey McBride and Marvin Harrison. Um, the wide receiver two is Evan Ingram. They signed him in the offseason. So we'll
Mm.
see. We'll look out for that. Moving on, number 22, I have Garrett Wilson and Alan Lazard. Um, Similar as you said, I feel like Garrett Wilson hasn't exactly lived up to his potential so far. He has a bunch of
Still
highlight
got
plays, but
paid.
oh yeah, he did get paid. That's yeah. I mean, he definitely shows flashes here and there, but he hasn't really taken that next step yet.
Right.
I think this year could be the year with his former college quarterback, because they already have the chemistry.
Hmm.
And then Alan Lazard's kind of just I mean, he is not really the greatest. He's a wide receiver too.
Yep. Great
Um,
blocker. Great blocker.
yeah, very good blocker. Number 21, who I think you had at like 28 or something, or 27. I have Marvin Harrison Jr. and Greg Dortch. No need to touch on Greg Dortch. But you kind of mentioned it. Trey McBride's kind of a wide receiver too. But I do think Marvin Harrison takes that next step this year into that upper echelon of receivers, maybe tier one or tier two of receivers.
Mm.
But I think Greg Dortch is just not that good, so it's kind of holding down. So we'll see. Maybe if we come back next year, that's a top 10 wide receiver duo. Um, Maybe top 15 is more realistic for that.
Yeah.
Number 20, I have DK Metcalf and Calvin Austin. Nothing really special about this group. DK Metcalf had a very good season last year, but he is getting up there in age, and he has Aaron Rodgers throwing the ball. So we'll see. But I feel like he's gonna get mostly all the targets with Aaron Rodgers. I mean, there's nobody else really
Yeah.
anywhere
Pick
close to
isn't there
him.
anymore.
Yeah, no. And they're I mean, they got Jonnu Smith and Pat Fryermuth, so maybe I don't know how much Rodgers likes his tight ends. I can't really think of any tight ends off the top of my head when he was in Green Bay
Yeah.
or in New York for those 2 years. So we'll see. He likes his wide receivers, obviously with Devontae Adams and then Garrett Wilson last year a little bit. I think DK is poised to have a good year.
Mm.
Number 19, I have Ladd McConkey and Trey Harris. I think this could easily be a top 15, uh, wide receiver group by the end of the year. I'd probably lock that in, because I do think Trey Harris is going to be very good, coming out of Ole Miss and on already spread offense. But one thing that might hurt him is Jim Harbaugh likes to run the ball more.
Yep.
But I think he's going to get his fair share of targets and receptions and all that. Number 18, who I actually have 18, 17, and 18 flipped from you. I have Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman at 18, and Olave and Shaheed at 17. I think Olave and Flowers are very comparable. They're very similar receivers, kind of short on the shorter side,
Mm.
speed guys. The clear cut number one option on their teams. But I think Shaheed is better and has more upside than Rashad Bateman, who still has drop problems somehow throughout this year, his career. He was so good at Minnesota too. God, they were fun to watch. I'm not gonna lie. That Minnesota Golden Gophers team in
Was he was part of that team when they were really, really good?
mhm,
Okay.
2019. Yeah, it was him, and I can't think of the other receiver off the top. Tyler Johnson, I think his name is.
Uh,
I don't know. We digress. Number 16, rounded my second group of receivers out, kind of tier three, is Rasheed Rice and Xavier Worthy. Um, excuse me. Rasheed Rice, I think, is a solid wide receiver one. Pretty actually above average wide receiver one when he's healthy. Mahomes loves to get him the ball. But Xavier Worthy is kind of very, very similar to Shaheed. He just relies on the deep ball way too much. Um, kind of only like you don't really see him like as even last year when when Rashee Rice went down, he wasn't even the wide receiver one because that Chiefs offense is just so weird.
Yeah,
Everybody kind of gets
it was
their
so
fair
weird.
share. Yeah. But yeah, I do think Rashee Rice is very good. So we'll see. That's it for my tier. I guess tier three of receivers.
Yep.
And now we move into the top 15.
Yep.
So
So
let's see who you got, Connor.
yep, kicking it off. You just mentioned him. I have Rasheed Rice and Xavier Worthy. I'm not too high on Xavier Worthy
Hmm.
this year, and really just like as a player. I mean, like you said, he relies too much on the deep ball. And look, if that's his game, cool. But like a lot of people are talking him up of being like a wide receiver one on like a fantasy football team, which is
Yeah,
just like
that's
I don't
crazy.
think that's realistic.
No.
And then Rasheed Rice has his off the field issues that are yet to be dealt
Yeah.
with. So that's kind of the reason I have them lower. Maybe if they could get their act together, maybe you could see him a little higher, but
Hmm.
certainly you could see him a little lower if things don't work out. Then I have at number 14 the Commanders with Terry McLaurin and Debo Samuel. Look, Debo's a big question mark. You kind of compared him to Zion. I can see that. And then Terry McLaurin is having his off the field issues with the contract negotiation and stuff. So, uh, I mean, Terry obviously is
Let
a great player, but
yeah, let me clear that part up. You just mentioned I compared him to Zion. In the sense that he's eating good where he's at. That I, I, out of context, that sounds crazy when you said I compared Debo Samuel to
if
Zion.
you could see it, like people would
Oh, for
understand
sure,
that.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry to
Uh-huh.
interrupt. You can continue.
No, but yeah, I mean, Terry's a great receiver. There's no denying that. Um, And then moving on to number 13, I have the Houston Texans. Nico Collins, who is one of the best receivers in this league out of Michigan, and Jaden Higgins out of Iowa State, another one, wide receiver U, shout out.
Get
Um,
off. Get out of here.
but no, I mean, Nico Collins literally is that good.
Yeah.
Then at number 12, I have Romo Dunze and DJ Moore. I have them this high because I'm believing in Romo Dunze. I really do think this could be his year. And really for DJ Moore, I mean, both of them. Caleb Williams, obviously, the sky's the limit for him. And they just got a new head coach, Ben Johnson. We saw what
Mhm.
he did in Detroit. Um, Number 11 now, I have the Jaguars with Brian Thomas Jr., Travis Hunter, another rookie. Seems like there's a ton of rookies and sophomores on here. Um, Look, BTJ is a star in the making, if not already a star. And Travis Hunter 100% has superstar potential. Um, it's going to be very interesting to see how Liam Cohen handles his like
Snap count, kind of
yeah his
like on both
snap
sides of the
count
ball.
and his both sides of the ball. I mean, I really don't know anything about what Travis
No,
Hunter's
yeah.
situation is going to be this year
I
in
haven't
Duval.
heard anything about it.
Yeah. So at number 10, I have the Buccaneers with Emeka Egbuka and Mike Evans. Chris Godwin obviously suffered that awful injury last year. He was having a huge year before that injury, so it sucked to see him
Hmm.
go down. But I think Emeka Egbuka is going to be a great replacement for them, so that's why I
For
have
sure.
them so high. Um, Another Ohio State player. It just seems like a ton of Ohio State wide receivers are on here for some reason. Jeez, that's weird.
Hmm.
All right, enough of that. Moving on, number 9, I have the Falcons. I got Drake London and Darnell Mooney. Shout out Tulane. I mean, both of them were damn near 1,000 yards. Drake London 100% was. Darnell Mooney, I want to say, was 996, maybe. I looked earlier,
That's a
but
crazy pull. You just,
yeah, no, he had.
uh, I
Oh, whoops, sorry. That's all I
okay,
got for my tier two.
okay. I thought we just lost it again.
No, we're good.
So yeah, no, I'm not kicking off number 15. I have the Commanders wide receiver core and Terry McLaurin and Debo Samuel. You kind of talked about everything I was going to talk about.
Yeah.
Debo Samuel is we don't know what's going on with Terry McLaurin with the contract stuff. He had a good year last year. but with the contract stuff, it was kind of tough to put him any higher. Especially with a guy like Debo who had his worst year last year, and then he comes over. To, I would say a better, not even a much better quarterback. But if you've seen clips of training camp, he just looks out of shape right now. So we'll see. And he's getting older in age. He's getting up there. Number 14, I have Malik Neighbors and Wandale Robinson. Um, Honestly, Malik Neighbors is completely carrying that. Like, if he wasn't there, this would probably be the worst receiving core in the league. Not probably. This is the worst receiving core league without Malik Neighbors. Although, watch out for Jalen Hyatt. I've heard a lot of good things. He's put on like,
I'm not sipping the Kool-Aid, man.
well, you've seen it, I guess. He's put on like 15 pounds of muscle, and he's ready to take that next step to what be a clear cut wide receiver two for him. So we'll see. Never know. Um, Number 13, I think we have like three straight of the same ones. I have Nico Collins and Jaden Higgins.
Okay. Yeah.
For everything you said, Nico Collins is that good. And even though Jaden Higgins is a rookie, I just think Nico is that good that he can propel him that high. And I do think Jaden Higgins will be very good until Tank Dell, if Tank Dell ever comes back. I don't know if he'll ever play
Feel
again.
so bad for him, man.
Yeah, he's so good when he's healthy. But man, it's unfortunate. Injuries suck. We're Saints
Part of the
fans, so we
game.
know. Number 12, I have DJ Moore and Roma Dunze. I think this is the year for Roma Dunze. I know it's the second year, but I think I'm not just saying this because I'm on my fantasy team. I think he could have a breakout year in the Ben Johnson offense.
Mhm.
Um, and I don't know if you're seeing the reports out of camp, Ben Johnson is getting on him, getting on the first team guys. He's throwing people out of practice. He's not scared. He's really lighting a fire under this organization.
Yep.
But if you've also seen Caleb Williams, I don't know if you saw that clip, but he did a drill and then like was whining after he did terrible in it. He is such a diva, man. I mean,
Yikes.
yeah, God. Number 11, who you had, I'm pretty sure top 10 is, I have Drake, I think you have nine. I had Drake London and Darnell Mooney. Um, I just think, I mean, Drake London, I think he's above average to good or great wide receiver one. Hope maybe with Michael Penix can kind of unlock him. But I think Darnell Mooney had his career year last year. I don't think he's going to do much better
Yeah,
than
that's fair.
that.
That's fair.
Shout out to Tulane. Just found out he went to Tulane a couple years ago, actually, when he was still on the Bears. But I mean, Michael Penix, maybe they can. I mean, we'll see. I heard he's kind of struggling in camp right now.
Mhm.
So I don't know. Maybe Desmond Ridder can come back and play for them. Um,
I
Number
don't think
10,
so.
yeah, number 10 and 9, I'll knock these out quick. I have Brian Thomas Jr. and Travis Hunter in 10. I think Brian Thomas Jr. is the top seven receiver in this league, but Hunter's a rookie, so you can't really say. And I do think Hunter is going to burn out playing receiver and DB in the NFL. I think
Mhm.
he is going to have to pick one. Maybe not this year, but in year two, maybe or three. I just don't think that's sustainable in the NFL. It's a whole different game from college. Like even the players will tell you that. Um, and then number 9, I have Mike Evans and Emeka Ibuka. Very similar to what you said. Mike Evans is a top 10 receiver in this league. I think he has like 11 straight 1,000-yard seasons, even though last year should have ended. And I'll never forgive Dennis Allen for that.
That
Um,
soft.
and, and I'm telling you right now, if Chris Godwin was healthy, this is a top 5 receiver duo. But
100%.
since he's not, I think Emeka Ibuka is going to slide right in there. I think he'll do fine. Ohio State just has a pipeline of receivers. He'll be fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, now we'll move on to our tier one of receivers. And Connor,
Yep.
I'm very interested to see who you have at 8
Yeah,
here.
so kicking off my top eight, I have Jackson Smith and Jigba and Cooper Kupp from the Seattle Seahawks. This is JSN's wide receiver room. He's took huge step last year, and he's going to take
Mhm.
another huge step this year with Sam Darnold. And I mean, no disrespect to Cooper Kupp, but I mean, he's in the twilight of his career and coming off some injuries. I mean, it's still Cooper Kupp, which is why I still
Mhm.
have them top eight, but it's 100% in Jigba's offense, and he's going to be the alpha, getting all the targets,
For
receptions,
sure.
and
For
yards,
sure.
and touchdowns. Moving on, number seven, I have Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jamison Williams. I'm gonna go on air right now and say I'm not a big Jamison Williams fan. I think he's a better version of Xavier Worthy. Relies a lot on the deep ball. And with Ben Johnson, they created plays perfectly to fit
Yeah.
that style of player. I mean, he had over 1,000 yards last year. So which is why I have them in the top seven. I mean, obviously, Amon-Ra St. Brown's a monster. Shout out Amon-Ra, he's on my fantasy team this year.
Take
Um,
care of them.
yep. Uh, but the reason I have them lower than some of these other guys is because I'm just not the biggest Jameson Williams fan. Um, Moving on, number six, I got Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison. Not too much to say here. I mean, Justin Jefferson's a monster. I'm not the biggest Jordan Addison fan though, so that's why I have them lower than Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, who I have at number five. Tyreek Hill, obviously, he's getting a little older, but he's still a beast. Um, and Jalen Waddle, I think, is a lot better than Jordan Addison. So, number four, I have Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams. Not too much to say there. Puka's a monster. Devontae Adams, although similar to Tyreek Hill, although he's getting older, he's still very good.
Mhm.
Number three, I have AJ Brown, Devonta Smith. Number two, I have CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, and then obviously at number one, I have Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. So
Mhm. All
that's
right,
all I
that's
got.
yeah. How much time do we have, like, real quick, so I know.
We got just under 3 minutes.
Okay. Uh, I, we're like basically spot on with each other. A couple of differences, but at number eight, I have JSN and Cooper Cup. A lot of people are kind of counting out Cooper Cup and saying he's old, but he still played at a very high level last year
Hmm.
when he wasn't injured. And now he's got Sam Darnold, who had a resurgence last year throwing the ball. So we'll see. I think he'll be perfectly fine in that offense. Number seven, I have Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jameson Williams for everything that you touched on. Amon-Ra, I think, is a top five receiver, but I don't think Jameson Williams is that good. Not okay. Let me not say that because he did have 1,000 yards last year,
Hmm.
but I do think that was a product of the Ben Johnson offense.
Yep.
But Dan Campbell came out and said that he's going to have an increased role this year, so we'll see. Number six, I have Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Tyreek Hill's still playing at a very high level. He had a down year last year, but he still was very productive. Now Jalen Waddle had a bad year last year, but he was injured, and I think he will bounce back perfectly fine. Um, and two is healthy again, so we'll see with that. Excuse me. Number five, I have Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams. You said it yourself. Puka Nacua is elite, and Devontae Adams last year still played at a very high level
Hmm.
with his buddy Aaron Rodgers, and on the Raiders too. He still played pretty well. Number four, I have Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison. I do have to agree with you. I do think Jordan, or disagree with you. I think Jordan Addison is very good. Um, he had a pretty good year last year with Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
The one thing that does scare me is JJ McCarthy, just because I mean, technically it's his rookie season because he was hurt last year.
Hmm.
So I don't know what that's going to look like, but I think Jefferson's just that good that he brings him up a lot significantly. Number three, I have CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. I could easily see this being the best uh, duo in the league when it's all said and done this year. If Dak stays healthy and if those two stay healthy. Excuse me. So I'm trying to get through this. We have two more. Number two, I have AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. Those two are both elite receivers in this league. Devontae Smith's probably okay. Devontae Smith's the second best wide receiver two because the best wide receiver two in the league is T Higgins, and that's who I have number one. Jamar Chase and T Higgins. There was never a doubt. I mean, those two are unbelievable. Joe Burrow, it just give that man a defense, please, for the love of God.
Please. Yep.
It's unbelievable. But yeah, that's gonna do it for our. Oh my God. That's gonna do it for our top 32 duos in the NFL, wide receiver duos. Tell a friend to tell a friend. I'm gonna go take a 3 hour nap because I feel like I got hit by a bus, and I'll let Connor end the video here.
Yep. I mean, that's all we got. We got like 10 seconds left. So thank you for listening, and we will see y'all later. Peace.
Peace.